Yo, 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 yo. Afternoon, all afternoon, Friday afternoon, end of the week, getting ready for the weekend. Father Chalky, Simple Things Audio. Right. Today, gonna do a little review, maybe even give you a little sound check with it, but a little review on a couple of amplifiers out of the Elements Audio Systems camp. Couple of real good amplifiers that they've just built up now. They've just started selling out now, end of last year. So let me show you what we have here. Right, as you can see, 2-channel amplifiers. I'll point them out to you, I'll show them to you. At the bottom we have the K1600, which is AB class transformer amp. Very good amp. It's a very good amp. Only thing about that amp is it does weigh. You do pay for the weight. It weighs 31k, but it is a transformer amp. Now this amp, K1600, as labeled, will give you about 1600 into 8 ohms solidly, 2600 into 4 ohms, so it is very powerful, and it will also give you 4200 into 2 ohms. The amps are rated to play down to 2 ohms, so that amp's strong, so you can bridge it as well at 8 ohms, mad power, 5200 watts bridged at 8 ohms, and then you have bridged at 4 ohms, which is absolute crazy power as well. You have 8400 watts bridged at 4 ohms, so mad kind of power amplifiers for these days, high power drivers. Now, as I said, this one here, this K1600, very weighty amp, 31k, but you do pay for the weight of that amp. It is a very solid amp. Now at the back, I've hooked up a couple of bits here, but let me show you at the back. As you can see, it has a 20 amp circuit breaker, but it is made with a solid cable inside to run from a 13 amp plug. So very efficient amp. At the back, as you can see, we have the switch modes over here, the stereo, parallel and bridge mode. You have your medium sensitivities, 0.7, 1 and 32 decibels if you feel to change, and your on and off ground switches. These amps are also built with input and link output, so very well made, very solidly made, I must say. They do have speak on outputs and the red and black, you know, twists on, twists off, old school style. 2 sets of fans blowing the air back to front to back, I should say, and nice circuit boards inside and everything. Very solid, very solid amps. Now big up Mr. Ben Wells, all part and parcel of these amps, which are, as I said, when you come down to the specs of these, very solid amps. Now the bottom one, as I said, the K1600, is a class AB transformer amp, so it does have a lot of weight on it, 31k, but I've tested it for sound, and yeah, you're paying for that in weight, but you can hear that. You really can hear that. It's a great sounding amp at the moment. So yeah. I'll give you a little review on the sound a little bit later. Now, if we go up to the one upstairs, which is the CK26. Now, the CK26 is a class D+ab smps amplifier. Now, you're not going to find many of them about class D+ab smps for true. This amplifier at the top, the CK26, is lighter than the K16. So the top amplifier is half the weight. It is 15K because this hasn't got the big fat transformer inside it. But in saying that, the top amp is more powerful. The top amp will give you roughly about 2,600 watts into 8 ohms, which is crazy power again as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, and it will give you 4,800 watts into 4 ohms. Again, for me, crazy power. But those who like the high power drivers, this is a very solid amp. And it plays down to 2 ohms. So you will get 7,500 watts per channel into 2 ohms. Once you go and bridge the amp in 8 ohms, you'll get 9,000 watts, which is absolutely madness. Absolute madness as far as I'm concerned. And bridge it down to 4 ohms, 18,000 watts. So if you're doing parallel wiring, you know, series parallel wiring, them amps can work really well for you. And as I said, the top amp, which is more powerful, the CK26, is half the weight of the K1600. So the top amp is 15K in weight and the K16 is 31K in weight. So a bit of a backbreaker, but you know what, it's worth it to get the sound quality from these amps. Definitely. So as I said, quick look at the back again, and if you look here, this one here at the top, if you look right here, look at the thickness of this power cable. Big up Mr. Ebony Showcase, who knows everything about these kind of thing. I know you know. If you have a look at the thickness of the power cable, so that it is made so it's got one thick cable run solidly into a 13 amp straightforward. Yeah, very nicely made. As I said, the 2 fans at the back, you have the link output to come out. The top amp built with the 30 amp circuit breaker on it, which is also very handy, because it is a very, when you're talking 2,600 watts into 8 ohms, that's a powerful amp. So yeah, I want to big up Ben Wells. We got together yesterday, and I'm gonna take these out a couple of times, do some tests indoors, take them out a couple of times next few days, over the next couple of weeks, give them a bit of a running. I'm gonna admit, I'm a bit, you know, because I'm a man, I don't use real big high power drivers and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna be real careful with these amps, because especially the CK26, you have to know what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to end up tearing up drivers, you're going to end up tearing up speakers with these kind of amps that actually push the pressure that you would like to be after. So you do have to be careful and know what you're doing anyway, you know what I mean? Right, okay, I've set up a little something here, just a crossover EQ, you know, blah blah blah, just to give you a tune before the Facebook police come along and say, oh, rah rah rah, we're gonna take your video down. So I'm gonna give you a little tune on this. Over the next week or so, I'll be here, I'll bring the 18s, I'll do it with the double 12s, I'll be doing some proper testings on the amps. to find out this and that. You know what I mean? As I say, I'm gonna have to get out maybe a PD, maybe a stronger driver, because boy, I don't want to end up with rip up drivers. You know, I ain't got money for that. So okay, we plugged in the K1600, which has got less power, 1600 at 8 ohms, but still that's a good power. I mean, that's roughly the same as a VZ, I would say, roughly about, you know, same as a VZ crown amp, maybe a PL380, you know, them kind of power, because it goes into 4 ohms the same way, and it's not as powerful in 2 ohms as the PL380, but it is as powerful in 4 ohms as them 2 amps, the Crown and the QSC. So a lot of people know them amps and know that they are very solid. Now this with a transformer in it makes it more of a solid amp in my view anyway. Although the lightweights now, the way they are built and everything, are built solidly and built to work as long as you deal with the proper company. This amp, the casing, before I play a tune, very solidly made metal casing. That's how we like it, you know. We don't want to see no plastic bits falling off or nothing. Yeah, it's a proper solid casing, very similar to the design that the QSC used to have with the RMXs. So yeah, it's a very solid casing. Right, before I have to start pack away and go and do what I gotta do, right, let me play you a tune on the bottom amplifier on the K1600.
So right now we like to feature Silicon Radio, which is the future of all radios.
Now I've got everything down at serious reasonable level. It does sound clean. And I'm just playing that straight through an EQ. So the mid-range and the high-range sounding nice for true. And as you can see, hardly any signal going into that. Big up Rustic B, big up Paul G, big up T Smooth. Just pushing a little bass. As you can see, channel 1, not really flicking much signal at all. I don't want to rip it too hard, so I mash up the double 12s, you know. This is the one I'm going to think about taking out tomorrow. The K16, solid. What you're hearing there, transformer sound. AB technology. It does have a very nice tone to the bass line, I have to say. And it doesn't grunt it out. It is a very smooth bass coming from it. big up Rustigby. You can get the double 12s passive for about 350, and the actives I think are between 520 and 550 from Tommen over there in Holland side. So yeah, contact me because I've got an account with them, blah blah blah. I can help you out, yeah, if you need them box. Right, let's play another horns tune. I like to test the horn section because then I can hear mid and top. As I said, the amp behaving very, very nicely. And then all settings before the amp, nice and easy. Right, let's put a little low into this. Now that is a smooth bass, you know, I'm not hearing that chucking up, you know. No grunting, just nice. That does reproduce that very, very nicely. That's the K1600, 1600 watts at 8 ohm. 2.4 at 4 ohm, or maybe even more, I'll have to check that again. .26 at 4 ohm, 4,200 at 2 ohm. Big up Ray Vidal, anywhere you're there. See, that bass is very smooth, I have to say, compared to other amps. It is just playing a very smooth bass, but you do have to be careful because that's a strong piece of amp. Right. You see it there? The K1600 sounding very, very nice. Have to get the balance correct so that the bass does but it reproduces. I had it there at what, 60, 70 hertz, maybe 75 hertz, and it was reproducing that very nicely through that box. So the K1600 31K sounding very nice. Big up Ben Wells. The CK26. This is the amp I'm going to be afraid of when you're talking 2,600 into 8 ohms. Madness. Madness. But I'm going to test that one out another time as well. So I'm going to do a few tests over the next few days over the week. Look out for the YouTube vids and more vids to come. We're going to put this through its paces, basically, and hopefully not tear up no drivers at the same time. So, you know what? Big up everybody for looking. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'll be coming back with some more tests, so watch out. Watch out over the next few months. Different amps, different boxes, different drivers. Nothing's coming back in. So work's going to start flowing. So COVID, you can't stop me. Later.